The past few weeks have been a very difficult time for our country. Arguably, some of the most challenging circumstances we've seen in decades. It has reignited long-festered issues that divide our nation and our people. It has come at a time when our nation has been battling a health and economic crisis like we have not seen in generations. That crisis has even touched our great city. From dealing with civil unrest that led to destruction of our downtown businesses and defaced our historic Black business district, to a pandemic that continues to rob our loved ones of their wellness and in some cases their lives, to economic losses that have forced many beloved businesses to shutter their doors for good. Now, I'll be lying if I said the past few weeks haven't been heavy on me. And I know I'm not alone. Uncertainty, worry have plagued our streets. But here's the thing about fear. Fear comes from the absence of hope. But even in our darkest hours, what I see more clearly than I've ever seen in the past few weeks is the promise of hope. I saw hope in the eyes of our residents, assisting in downtown cleanup efforts, offering support and words of encouragement, sweeping away glass and bitter feelings, and mending hearts. I see hope in the leadership of Birmingham's homegrown sons, like Roy Wood Jr., coming back home to aid in their recovery. It's the essence of giving back to a place that made you. I see hope as residents contribute to GoFundMe campaigns to restore our businesses to full strength. And I see hope in the first responders, working countless hours away from home, all for the health and wellness of everyday people and strangers. And yes, I see hope in a city that has created the blueprint of social justice reform in our nation, a city that continues to lean on the lessons passed down from our forefathers and foremothers. Now, obviously, there is still much work to do. On the economic front, the long-term economic impact from COVID-19 is still to be determined. We know our city, like all other cities around the country and world, has taken a significant financial hit to our budget. And we know our businesses are struggling to determine how to be successful in the short term and long term. And we are working closely with our city council to revise our budget to reflect shortfalls in tax revenue. And we are also working closely with our business owners to support them in every way possible to keep their doors open and our citizens employed. In the past week, our city and our people witnessed the best and the worst of humanity. We saw violence and destruction that damaged our city and many of our businesses, physically harmed some of our journalists, and cast a negative light on all of us. Let me be very clear when I say this. What we saw the night of May 31st was not Birmingham. Anarchists and looters and violence will not stand in a city where men like Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth use strategy, dialogue, and compassion to make lasting change. It is the very opposite of the principles we stand for. It is the very opposite of progress. And though those actions were wrong, I do understand that they sprang forth from pain. It's pain that resonates from a community that has long gone unheard. It is for that reason we were so dedicated, so committed to keep our 24-hour promise and remove the Confederate monument from Lynn Park on Monday night. In a city comprised of 74% Black people, the fourth blackest city in the nation, a city whose hallmark is civil rights, and a city, I might add, that didn't even exist until after the Civil War. That monument stood in defiance of everything our city stands for. For the majority of residents, it was not a symbol of heritage. It was a symbol of fallen regime bent on subjugating the people of color that make Birmingham and call Birmingham their home. Removing that monument was the right thing to do for our city, and I stand by that decision. Now, I want to close my comments with a parallel to one of my favorite cities to our east. Almost 6 decades ago, The world saw the civil rights movement truly unfold in Birmingham. Those days in our city were dark and filled with hatred. People died. We all know 4 young, beautiful girls lost their lives, but there were others. There were dogs and fire hoses and violence and arrests, all because black people wanted to fully participate in the American dream. But out of those difficult days and weeks, in Birmingham rose landmark congressional action that impacted people across the nation and many parts of the world. Many have said that apartheid would not have ended in South Africa if the civil rights movement had not started in Birmingham. But while we were embroiled in the civil rights movement, while we were being described as the city of perpetual promise, by which they meant a city of unfulfilled promise, our sister city, Atlanta, said they were a city too busy to hate. They were about building Atlanta's economy by working together across racial and political lines. And today, Atlanta is one of the great cities of the world. And so today I suggest Birmingham is at a point where we are now a city too busy to hate. We are a city too busy to allow anyone to divide us. And while we meet head on anyone who may try to damage the fabric of our city, we cannot and will not allow anything or anyone to take our eyes off the prize. Our focus every day is creating a strong, vibrant city that offers opportunity for all of our citizens. The answer to many of the issues that face our community rests in that one word: opportunity. This is what we want for everyone who calls Birmingham home. We want them to have the hope for a better future and access to the avenues that will get them there. We will do this by making quality education for our young people a top priority. We must give our young people the tools they need to fill the high-paying jobs of the future. We've started with the Birmingham Promise to help our young boys and girls fulfill their God-given talents and abilities. And we will make Birmingham one of the great cities of the future by building an economy for the future. Healthcare, innovation, research, manufacturing, tourism, small business. These are some of the tools and sectors that will be key parts of the future economy. These industries and entrepreneurs will provide the jobs our citizens need to improve the quality of life, not only for their families, but for our city. So in closing, have we been through difficult days, weeks, and months as a city and nation? The answer is yes. Have we pulled together to protect our city and our future? The answer is yes. Will we allow anyone who wants to divide or cause destruction in our city to be successful? The answer is absolutely not. Again, let me thank the 9 members of our City Council for their support and deep involvement in everything we are doing. Let me thank our law enforcement and city workers for standing on the wall through difficult times. Let me also thank our healthcare workers for putting their lives on the line for us. But most of all, let me thank the citizens and residents of this great city for pulling together and believing that Birmingham's best days are still ahead of us. You know, I've gotten so many texts, calls, DMs, and emails asking how I felt about the state of Birmingham in the past few days. Now, I'll be honest when I tell you this. I don't see the past week as a setback. I see this as a monumental moment for moving Birmingham forward. A moment of change, a moment of rebuilding, a moment to reflect on our city's history of civil rights, a moment to push that legacy forward by removing a divisive structure of oppression and making space for reconciliation and growth. Today is a new day, a day without fear, a day filled with hope.